Do you believe this stuff that's coming out of your mouth? There's no way you do.
This was a credit card cuckold.
Love wins out in the end, you know?
Did you notice a new decoration? I keep carrying it into different banks. And I keep carrying this. Hey, Doug, I went to the movies the other night. I have my guy with me right there. I'm like, I'll take two. We're going to go see Deadpool. You going to go check out the new Deadpool movie? Deadpool Wolverine. Are you a Marvel guy? Your sons?
No.
Your sons? Which, by the way, happy birthday, Coop. Happy birthday, Drew.
Yep.
Right? When's Sam's birthday? Sam's the best of the bunch.
December. She's December.
Yeah, well, she's a saint, and so is Coop, and so is Drew, and so are you. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, the saint I'm talking about is right in front of you. His name is Douglas William Wade, longtime friend of mine, number one man for the Ohio State Buckeyes, PGA, professional golfer. Douglas, today is Thursday, July the 25th of the year 2024, and here we are. How are you? How has the week been since you've been crowned an official champion of the Lima Masters? Speak to the people. They need to hear it.
It's been a good week, man. I mean, hard to come off cloud nine. Just up here. Just up here in the clouds with that winning squad, 4-stroke victory. That's hard to do in a scramble. It's good stuff.
Is it coincidental you're wearing green today?
No, it's not. I've worn green every day since the event.
As you should. From what I understand, we'll be getting fitted for green jackets for the Lima Masters. Boy. Whew. Is that true?
That is true.
All right. Well, as you can see, folks, we've got the giant check behind me. It was a historic. It was a historic week on two fronts. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure which is more significant. Number one, the inaugural Masters, Lima Masters, which, by the way, congratulations to Brady, Mike, Dave, Donnie, Tom, you, Doug, the whole gang for putting on a fantastic event. Channel 4 News team went in as a slight favorite, and the Channel 4 News team did not disappoint the people all over this great world that backed them as the 4-1 favorite. Indeed, we did bring home the inaugural Lima Masters. Also happening this week, as a matter of fact, last night, for the first time since 1968, when Lyndon Johnson shocked the nation with an address from the Oval Office to speak on the Vietnam conflict. And at the end of that speech, he made it clear to the people he would not be seeking, nor would he accept the Democratic nomination for his second term at the Democratic National Convention coming up in Chicago. A huge deal at the time. It always will be. And last night we had our Commander-in-Chief, Joe Biden, speak to the people in an address that will be taught to Coop and Drew and Sam and all the youth. It will be in their history lessons for some time to come. We watched a sitting president 4 months away from in my opinion, and in many opinions, one of the most important elections in the history of our democracy / republic. I personally watched every word of it. I'm a history buff, even though it may not seem like that at sometimes. I kind of sound like I like to allow people to think I'm the dumbest one in the room. It's one of my favorite things to do. But we were watching history last night, a historic political moment for Joe Biden saying that he is falling on his sword, essentially, because for the sake of our democracy. Those were his words. Doug, what did you think about last night? What do you think about the political landscape? I'm not asking for your side, but just to be involved in such a monumental, it's a huge deal.
I wonder how much of it was his decision, how much of it was, him being forced out. Obviously that first debate did not go real well for him. Mm-mm. It's the people elected him as the Democratic nominee, and then who is calling the shots to make him sit down? I don't know. And now all of a sudden there's a new candidate. I mean, it's interesting. if he truly thinks it's the best move for him, then I'm glad he did it now, as opposed to 6 months from now. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to see what lines are being crossed and who's drawing them and all that stuff, But like you said, it's historic. How and why is hard to answer, but it's a big deal.
I am not one. There's a lot of people out there, Doug. You and I both know many, 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 many people who, boy, it just seems like they have all the answers to everything. And I'm not one of those people. He had a terrible debate. Okay. We all saw it. You can't unsee it. Can't unsee. I love Joe Biden. I have respect for anybody. I do. I would never disrespect any president of the United States. I have a huge, huge respect for the office, and I think that's kind of been lost. It's another conversation for another day. So he did get significant pressure from the inside saying, look, you can't beat him, right? All paths, the electoral process, all these polls they have, they know. Some may wonder why we spent 5 minutes speaking about this. This is a historic moment. Everyone wants to talk about our founding fathers and this great country we live in the United States of America. We are a great republic. This is historic. And we have a president stepping down who will not seek a second term. It's going to be Donald Trump, and it's going to be Kamala. So anyway, going to be very interesting to see the political landscape. Let's just hope everybody can keep it together, regardless of what happens. In that movie Civil War that came out. Let's hope that doesn't. Let's hope that doesn't come to fruition, Douglas. Because I will not be out there on the front lines. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'll be hiding in my bunker.
I will not be marching and leading any entourages anywhere.
All right. Why don't we get to the fan feedback, ladies and gentlemen? Speaking of this great nation, we just continue to grow like a fungus, like a weed, like an algae. We just continue to grow. And let's go straight to Matt. Don't call me from Virginia. I'm from North Carolina. He wanted to know if Joe excavated Colonial, Joe Caprella. He saw some highlights of our ringer. He wanted to know if that was Joe playing golf or was he excavating? I think it's a fair question, Doug. What's the answer to that?
I'm not sure even Joe knows what he was doing that day.
Oh man,
I can't answer. I can't answer it. God bless him.
God, I've never. If anybody out there who plays golf, you know how hard the game is, and every once in a while you get, and I'll say the word. I'm not afraid to say it. Every once in a while you get a case of the shanks. Boy, Godspeed. I think Joe's Catholic, so I'm going to give him the sign of the cross there. Godspeed to Joe. All right. Also, a secondary point from Matt in North Carolina. He said we need to take it easy on the guy that pooed his pants. He said it happens to the best of us. And he sent me a YouTube link of the great Hall of Famer George Brett, the Kansas City Royals, pooping his pants on the field day after he had a food poisoning. He had food poisoning. He's on the field, and he shat himself, as did Joe Paterno at one point on the Ohio State sidelines. He had run off the field because he had shat his pants. And it kind of led me to think about sharts. But I don't think that's what I think. The mailbag last week, I'm not sure she was talking about him sharting. All of us do have moments, Matt, in North Carolina. You're right. The sharts and the shanks in golf both will get the best of us at times. But I have a feeling that the girl last week was talking about just some dirty drawers consistently. That's no good for anybody. All right. Thank you, Matt. And how about a shout out to Brian G? You know who Brian G is, Douglas. Loved listening in Amsterdam. Thanks for the shout out. Yeah. Turns out Brian G was the one downloading in Amsterdam. He was on vacation out there. A lot of fun. Hey, a lot of fun stuff to do in Amsterdam. He still found a way to wedge us in, if you know what I'm saying. And I mean that as dirty as you can think about it. Okay. So thanks, Brian G. I tell you what, I think we have. You talk about Brian G. You talk about Dominic. Joel. I think we've got some Knights of the 419 roundtable potential. What do you think, Doug? We should have a tryout.
You've got your entourage. I've got my entourage. And those two entourages probably have much different views. They're, yes, we're 3 years younger than you guys. No big deal. We're all in our 40s now. We're all old. But in my eyes, the level of experience between your group and my group is a whole lot. My poor guys are still very naive, young at heart.
Mm-hmm. We saw that, didn't we?
We all still have a lot. We all still have a lot to learn. Whereas your guys are the ones leading those lessons and sharing those experiences, which is why Carrie has me completely misconstrued here. But regardless, I think there would be two different points of views on those two different sets of roundtables, and it might be interesting to toss them back and forth and switch them up and see what we got going.
You kind of saw that. I think there were some stories told, and some of your boys seemed to be a little. You could they're still a little green, which it's okay. They were a little green. They were a little taken aback.
They'd come to me and say, "Did that? Did that really happen?" And I'd say, "Guys, yes, that actually really happened. Yeah."
They went to you for some
confirmation
for like a secondary
confirmation,
for a backup. Like, hey, we need some confirmation. You're like, oh yeah, those stories are all true.
Yep.
Well, listen. Speaking of Carrie with a K, she's doubling down as we speak. She's doubling down. You're all firmly planted on Perv Nation.
All right, it's time for our mailbag. Douglas, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Ready to go.
We got 4 of them today. Start off with an easy one, little softball, get the juices flowing. Tim in Lansing, Michigan. Mailman and I recently got into an argument about the portion size at Chipotle. He thought they had decreased. I say no. What say you? Tim in Lansing, Michigan.
Well, he's asking the perfect person. I eat Chipotle minimum 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay. Well, then it is.
That's my go-to.
Okay.
So there are certain stores that serve different portions. Oh. There are certain employees at certain stores that serve different portions. They have a guideline. They're not measuring out how much rice they're giving and all that. If you become experienced enough in a certain store, you know who to order from, who you want to order from, who you don't want to order from, things like that. I would say on the whole, the portions have not become smaller, but on a given store, it's absolutely possible. I mean, a manager of a franchise could say, "This is what we're doing," and taking a hard stance. So it all depends.
You can't.
It all depends. It depends on the store, and it depends on the employee you get. That's it.
Yeah, well, that doesn't. I don't like that.
Well, it is what it is.
What is it?
That's the truth.
Well, so the truth is, you'll get a robust, delicious burrito at one store, perhaps not so much at another. I don't like that. That's
absolutely right. And not only that, you could be at the same store, and the employee A may give you a nice, robust burrito, and employee B may give you a little small one.
Well, I don't like that. So I guess the question is, so what you're saying is the mailman was right. The mailman was arguing that there could be, that there's a portion control problem.
Again, I don't think it's on purpose. I think it could be a specific manager.
It needs to be fixed. You're like, hey, a scoop. You know what I mean? You can't just.
Yeah, but I like when it's not regulated because typically they err on the heavy side.
Well, that's a different story.
Typically,
but if you get a skimpy burrito, as a lot of my ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, but you got to watch them carefully. Don't be. Here's my advice. Don't be afraid to say something.
No,
if you see him
put one of those guys that says, "Oh, can you put more meat in there?" No, you either get double meat or not. You don't say.
Well, it's not even necessarily the meat. Just a little bit more rice. touch more cheese, whatever you need. If you feel like you're getting jiffed, you're going to feel better when you get in the car having said something. It is what it is.
I mean, you can't say, "Hey, give me more cheese." It's either, "Hi, I'd like double cheese, regular amount of cheese." It's not, "Hey, give me a little more cheese on that." That's not how it goes.
Again, not everybody puts the same amount every time, though. That's the thing. You don't know what you're getting until the hands go in and come out. You're not real sure.
You know what makes McDonald's great? Do you know what makes McDonald's great? Because the Big Mac is the same. Every McDonald's you go to in this country, you get 2 all-beef patties, not 1. You get special sauce, not regular sauce. Lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. It's not, if some worker wants to put it on a filet of fish bun, it goes on a filet of fish bun. No, nay. So, hopefully that answers your question. There clearly is some discrepancies on the Chipotle portion control model, and I think they need to go back to McDonald's. Actually, McDonald's might own them. Oh, whatever. Who knows? Question number 2. I got a question about the Mile High Club. Have you ever done it? Are you part of it? Is it possible? Do you know anyone who actually has? John in the great city of Indianapolis. Mile High Club. Wants to know if it's real.
It's real.
Are you part of it, Douglas?
I am not a member.
Nor am I.
To
the disappointment of my fans.
I can't say I know anybody specifically, but I do believe it's absolutely possible and focus.
I think the Mile High Club. I think more of a private jet thing. I've tried. I probably tried. It's just not.
Yeah.
Just think about being on a commercial airliner. It's just.
Yeah, it's not. It's. I mean, you got. It's. I think you got a better chance on an overnight flight when people are sleeping. I don't know, man. That's a tough deal. That's tough. That's tricky.
Have you seen the Netflix movie called The Wrong Missy? It just an absolutely hysterical comedy on Netflix. Adam Sandler produced it. It was never in the theaters. It's called The Wrong Missy, where she gives the guy the Jerkins jerk on the plane. Calls it the Jerkins jerk. I think there's a lot more of that action going on under blankets. A little. I remember making out with somebody one time when I was drinking. Back when I was drinking, when I was hammered, and I remember, I was like, "Holy cow!" I'm making out with somebody on a plane, like a rando, and I remember like opening my eyes in the crease between our seats, and there was like this 10-year-old boy like this. Oh, I was like, "Oh my god!" It was, true story. And so that's as far as I've got.
The fact you were only 12 is neither here nor there, but still, I mean,
So I've done that. Nothing anywhere near the Mile High Club per se. I will not name names. I do have a friend who, who on a random Tuesday morning business flight ended up getting the Jergens jerk from someone he met in the seat next to him, and then they went into an airport bathroom and finished the job. It's a true story. God bless this nation and these people. I've never.
That is impressive.
Female, 30 years old, dating for 2 years. He's 30 as well. My boyfriend doesn't want to travel with me, but has been on multiple boys' trips this summer so far. Golf trips lasting long weekends. Should I be concerned? Ashley in Cleveland doesn't want to travel with her. Likes to travel with his boys, his mates, his posse, his round table. 30 years old.
Well, the fact that he's taking golf trips and stuff with his boys is not a big deal. What we have to figure out here is why is he not initiating trips with you, or assuming you're asking him to go on trips and he's making excuses. Why is that happening? I guess there definitely needs to be a little concern there. Yeah, there's some concern there. It's not the fact that he's going on trips with his golf ball. I mean, that's to me not a big deal. It's more so why is he not wanting to go on trips with you? So yes, you should be worried. Yes, you should trust your instinct. And you should find out what's going on.
Yes, you should be worried, Doug says.
Yeah.
What it sounds to me like, it sounds like a little immaturity. Okay, so a 30-year-old, guy wanting to kind of still hang out with his buddies and get crushed and you do what dudes do and go to strip clubs and go golfing and all this malarkey, and then you go on a trip with your girlfriend, and it's more there's more of a maturity there. There's more of a feeling of it's a picture of reality. It's more of it's more of the settled down the picture of monogamy. It's different. Instead of going to a strip club, at 9 a.m. for an all you can eat buffet and a little tug behind the private curtain, you're getting the all you can eat buffet, and your girlfriend's going, "Can you bring me some cantaloupe?" And you're walking to the table like, "Yes, honey." Some guys aren't ready for that. Will you bring me a Belgian waffle? Yes, honey. Maybe we can have some activities today. We can walk on the beach, see the dolphins. Yes, honey. When you're with your boys, it's... Have you seen Fantasia? Have you seen Sparkles? Next on the stage, Dimebag Debbie. So, it sounds like a maturity problem. But, guys, it takes a while to mature. I don't know if you should be worried. Just know that when he's on these guys' trips, you probably don't, they're probably not the most wholesome trips in the world. That's all. Right, Doug? Maybe. If I was there, it'd be wholesome. Did you hear the laugh? Did you hear the laughter from the audience here?
I heard it from the 30,000 fans we have listening.
If I was there, you'd have nothing to worry about. You'd have just the piercing light of truth, justice, reason. All right, ladies and gentlemen, question number 4. Last but certainly not least, male 29, dating 29-year-old female, about a year, find myself struggling to have sexual relations when she comes home after being with her friends, drinking a lot. Any advice?
So he's having issues getting her to have sexual relations after she comes home
drunk. He doesn't want to have sex with her because she's drunk.
Oh, he doesn't want to have sex with her because she's
the sloppy and the breath and the spitting and the irrational behavior and the nonsense and all those things that come with it.
Okay, so I mean, if it's getting to the point where it's a problem and it's happening a lot, clearly you're going to have a conversation.
It's incredibly unattractive.
You got to have a conversation, and you've got to address it, or else the resentment's going to build. That's a constant theme with a lot of our questions, it appears.
Well, I mean, it's about drinking, sex.
Yeah. I mean, some guys, I guess every once in a while she comes home, she's feeling good, she's going to get a little crazy. That'd be fun. But after a while, you're right. That's going to be...
It's sloppy.
It's sloppy, and it's... She ain't all there, and it's
exactly.
You got to address it.
You got to address it. You really do have to. Honestly, Doug just said it is a common theme on the show. Sex is a weird. Adults are very uptight about talking about sex. Okay, sex is a huge part of everyone's life, whether one way or the other. Yet people have because it's the most vulnerable you'll ever be. Speaking about sex and what turns you on and turns you off and what, just because you've been dating someone for a year or 2 years, don't just assume they can't be grossed out by you. You don't want to gross somebody out. You start giving someone the icks, boy, and it's hard to come back from. And all I'm telling you is people that drink, listen, I'm a first ballot Hall of Fame drinker. So I'm talking to you hand in hand. If sloppy drunk, it's not attractive. It's like the breath, the spitting, the not being able to keep your thoughts. It's incoherent. You get all, it's like Doug said, it's like, and by the way, if you're going to have the conversation with them, don't have the conversation when they're impaired. Okay, you might as well have a conversation with a doorknob. Don't do that. Wait till the next day. All right, but that's the real thing, man. You want to address that before she goes off to collect the Price is Right. Yo. Once it goes off the cliff with the X, ain't no coming back. All right, Douglas, and with that, we are going to wrap up this week's edition, an historic edition of Casey on Tap. We have an incumbent president stepping down. We have the giant check from the first ever Lima Masters champions. Doug, before we go, as always, do you have any knowledge you'd like to drop on the masses? Because we all look forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just something small. A lot of people may already know this, but I've come to find out that there's really many people that haven't experienced this or haven't had the opportunity, and when they do, they're not real sure what to do. And what I'm referring to is that big check back behind you that we won on Sunday at the Lima Masters, and they presented it to our team, and our team allowed you to take that home with you. And as it turns out, you have now tried to cash that check at 2 different banks, and I got to tell you, it doesn't work that way. And I've won a few of those in my day, and they're just for like art, decoration. They're not real. They're not real. Yeah, they're just a display. I mean, you can do it, but they don't work for real monetary value. So
I wish you would have told me before I got handcuffed.
yeah, I didn't think you were going to go there. But it's a little too late for you. But it may help others who go out and win their first outing or something like that. So just know they're for display, nothing more.
Well, yeah, I learned that the hard way, and I got to tell you, I'm going to the Deadpool movie. I'm going to check out the new Deadpool movie, and I'm bringing. This is going to be my date right here. This check, it's going with me everywhere. Oh, not a check. Whatever this. This is the big. It's a symbol of our win in that huge trophy. In that huge trophy we got, and that's going to be displayed at Colonial. You say?
It is, yes.
Any thoughts quickly on your boy Xavier? Or, what's his name? Shambly?
Xander Schauffele?
Xander. Okay, at Royal Troon. Quickly, any thoughts?
I mean, it was impressive. That back nine on Sunday, hopefully most of you watched it. His back nine Sunday shoots a 31. Scoring average for the week on that nine was over 38. Think about that. He's going into the back nine tied, shoots 7 strokes below the scoring average on that nine. Incredible round of 65. Stud.
And he goes from the best that's never won a major to, hey, I've got 2 in the last.
Clear number 2 player in the world right now, and has an argument for player of the year. With Scheffler having an incredible year, so to even be in that argument's unreal.
Before we go, I'm gonna fire some quick college football because we got college football. You just smell it. Football's in the air. I'm gonna throw you some college football matchups and spreads. I just want some quick fire. I want some quick fire predictions from you. Ready? Or no?
I'm ready.
Florida State, ready. Georgia Tech. The Noles minus the 12.5 against the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. August the 24th.
Where's it at?
I'm not really sure, but it's August the 24th at noon, so it must be it'll be a neutral site, maybe one of those overseas.
Well, if it's at home or neutral for Florida State, I would take Florida State minus the points. If it's at Georgia Tech, that's a tough call. But not knowing, I'll take Florida State.
I'm just reading these off FanDuel. It doesn't really. It says at Georgia Tech. It's at Georgia Tech.
There you go. That makes the line seem a little more appropriate. That's a tough line at Georgia Tech. I'm still taking Florida State.
North Carolina plus the 2.5 at Minnesota.
Carolina.
J Flex.
Carolina.
Florida Atlantic plus the 11.5 at Michigan State. They've been down. The Spartans have been down.
Yeah, give me Florida Atlantic.
Clemson plus the 13.5 at Georgia. Is it between the hedges?
I'll take Clemson.
Plus the 13.5?
Yeah. Boy. Beginning of the year. They cover. I think they cover that. I think they sneak inside there. 10-point loss for Clemson.
And finally, the fighting Akron Zips coming into the horseshoe, holding steady at 49.5. The over/under is 58.5. OH. Okay.
all day.
See if there's any.
God, Akron's terrible.
They are so bad. All right, well, might as well take a look real quick at. Let's see where the old NFL Week 1. Let's see NFL Week 1 here.
Browns.
Looks like the current line right now is the. Oh, this is a painful. The Cleveland Browns are now -1.5 points.
Yeah, it's pouring in.
It is pouring in. I don't feel good. How about the total being 43.5 in that game? That's pathetic.
Give me the over.
Well, the Cowboys are. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's not. This isn't good. It's not good. And finally, the New York Football Jets plus the 5.5 with Aaron Rodgers at the San Francisco 49ers, the fighting Brock Purdy's. The 49ers minus the 5.5 against the Jets. This will be the final one.
I take the Niners.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from the horse's mouth himself, Doug Wade. He gives you nothing but winners. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much. And remember, if you're tired of drinking the same old thing, you might as well try Casey on Tap, where anything goes. All right, Doug, we'll see you next time. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great week. Bye-bye.
All righty, see ya. Do you believe this stuff that's coming out of your mouth? There's no way you do.
This was a credit card cuckold.
Love wins out in the end, you know?